Hi, I'm Danny, and today I want to show you how you can sketch 3 different hairstyles: straight, wavy, and curly. So let's get started. If you want to practice along with me, I have left a link in the description box below where you can find the reference pictures for this tutorial. To begin, we are going to use this picture for our straight hair sketch. First, we're going to lower the opacity of this layer, and we're going to go over the silhouette of the hair to get an idea of the different shapes that this has. So I add a new layer and I choose a darker color so I can see what I'm drawing over the picture. I go around the borders of the hair first. And then, I identify different strands of hair that I outline as well. This step does not have to be perfect because this is only going to be the reference for your illustration. And later on, when you practice more, you can even skip this part. When we finish, we can hide the picture and see the outline of the hair that you have created. Now, to start our illustration, we are going to place the reference picture and the outline that we just did in a corner of our canvas to look at it, while we draw the hair. I have created this head silhouette to practice the hairstyle. If you want to have this Procreate file, make sure to click on the link below to download it and practice with me. I usually lower the opacity of the silhouette layer, and then I add a new layer on top to begin. As a quick tip, I recommend to not do long straight lines like this, but instead use short strokes to start creating the shape of your figure. I am going to start with the top area of the hair. Let's take a look at her hair on this part, and we can notice that it goes a little bit over her face and it covers her ear as well. So I draw the hair a little bit over her face at the level of the eyes and ear. Then we continue with the right side, and we can see that we have a shape that looks like a triangle from the part down to her ear. And then we have a long hair strand that comes from the top of the ear all the way down in longer triangle shape. Now we have the basic outline and shape of her hair. Looking at the reference picture, we are going to draw this section of the hair that goes all the way from the back to the bottom. And then we continue adding the sections of hair on the left side. To add more details and even volume to the hair, I add short lines around. This also shows the direction to where the hair is flowing. At this point, we are done with our rough sketch. So we reduce the opacity of the rough sketch layer and we add a new layer on top. For the detail layer, I use one of my favorite brushes that has a texture similar to a pencil. If you want a similar effect for your sketch, you can use the 6B pencil for the outline. And then we go over the main lines. Make sure to not get confused with the lines of the silhouette of the face. We don't want to outline her ears since they are covered by the hair in a reference photo. Let's see how it's coming so far. Now that we have finished our detailed sketch, let me show you the texture of the brush that I have used for this step of the process. Great! At this point we have finished the sketch for our first hairstyle, and it looks really nice. Let's continue with the next one. Our second hairstyle to practice is wavy hair. And I found this picture as reference, and we're going to start with the same steps as we did before. First, we lower the opacity of our photo and add a new layer on top, and we're going to start drawing the shape of the wavy hair going around the border of the hair. This is the outline of the hair. And now we can continue to outline the strands of hair that stand out more. You can be as detailed as you want in this step. My preference is just to show some sections and strands of hair without much details on the smaller sections. But that is just my preference. To continue, we are going to set our reference photo and our reference outline on one side of the canvas. Remember to lower the opacity of the silhouette layer and to add a new layer on top. Now we're going to start with the rough sketch. I always prefer to start drawing the top area of the hair and go down as the hair falls. During this step, you constantly have to look to the picture, the reference photo, and the outline to not miss any details that you want to include in your illustration. As you probably noticed before, I like to give a little bit of hair volume to my illustrations. And to do that, you need to draw the outline of the hair wider and not so close to the face. And to finish our rough sketch, I add wavy lines going down the hair to give volume and direction to the illustration. And now we continue with our detailed sketch by adding a new layer and by lowering the opacity of the bottom layer. I have to say that this part is one of my favorites from the whole illustration process, and it is very relaxing for me. And to see how my illustration is progressing, I like to hide the bottom layer. And then I continue with the short flow lines. These lines are not as thick as the lines of the outline, so I do not add much pressure when I draw them. Or you can even decrease the size of your brush to get the same effect. Now, if we zoom in the reference picture, we can see that she has loose hairs around, some at the top and mostly at the bottom. So we can also add these loose hairs to our illustration. Nice! This is the second hairstyle that we have created today, and I really like this final result. Now, on to our third and final sketch, curly hairstyle. As you can see, this hair has more details and strands of hair. So for this quick outline, I am choosing a lighter color since the color of her hair is darker. As we start to go around the shape of the hair, we can see that the waves of the hair are closer together in comparison to the wavy hair. Also, the ends look like small half moons, and the curls are composed of S shapes going down. When we're done, we can hide the layer of the photo and we can see how nice our outline looks. Now that we have seen how the curls are composed of S shapes, let's practice them on the side. First, 2 S shapes going down and to the left. And from the bottom part of that first curl, the next curl starts going down and to the right. And you can continue with these shapes going down for as long as you want your curl. So you can create single curls like this one and add them around your hair, like this one right here on our outline. You can add more and even shorter curls. You can also create more loose curls by making the S shapes longer. So this is a really good practice that you can do before creating your rough sketch. Great! Now we have the outline that we created, a reference photo here, and the examples of the curls. As always, I start with the top of the hair, but this time I created a quick and simple outline of the hair, adding more volume to my illustration. Then I lower the opacity of this layer and add a new one on top and start with my rough sketch. To be able to see my references better, I open the references window from my quick menu to be able to zoom in more. Remember to use short, quick strokes to create the shape of the hair. Now, I'm going to add curls around the hair with the S shapes that we just learned and shapes like half moons for the ends. We have the first half of the hair. Now, let's get to do the other side. At this point, I'm not exactly using the photo to add the curls, but I'm just having fun and drawing them as I want to. Awesome! We have a rough sketch and I'm really liking how this is looking. Another quick way of creating curls is to create a long curvy line, and then to the curves you add a curved line to create a 3D shape. Here you can see the difference between the first curls and this one that we just learned to do. But my personal favorite is the first one. Since this hairstyle has more details, you could think that this is the harder to recreate. But with these steps and practice, you can create beautiful curly hairstyle characters. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram account and make sure to tag me or send me a message when you recreate these hairstyles. I would love to see them. To finish this sketch, we add simple short lines around to give it texture. And don't forget the loose hairs around. This part is so much fun. Awesome! This is our final sketch for our curly hairstyle. We also have our sketch for straight hair and our sketch for wavy hair with more loose S-shaped curls. If you want to continue practicing and improving your illustration skills, make sure to watch my tutorial and challenge on how I draw female faces. You can find the link right here or in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you had fun creating these hairstyles. Make sure to follow me for more tutorials to come, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!